Hey everybody, welcome back to homerecordingmadeeasy.com and here on my YouTube channel. And this time out, we're going to take a look at the fourth and final module of the SSL Fusion plugin bundle. This is the Violet EQ. If you have not seen the other three videos, you can check the playlist in the description box below. We're going to listen to this Violet EQ on some drums and on a full mix. And I'm going to kind of give you my thoughts about this bundle and does it sound like the real thing, the SSL Fusion hardware. So that's what we're going to do in this video. But before we get to that, if you like what you see in this video, please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so you know when I post new content. Everybody says that, right? Also, I want you to go out to homerecordingmadeeasy.com, especially if this is your first time here, because I'm going to give you a free mixing course. It's right on the website, right on the homepage, big orange button. You can't miss it. It's worth $100. It's my gift to you just for visiting homerecordingmadeeasy.com. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to give you something else for free. So stick around. So here we are in Studio One. Here is the Violet EQ module of the SSL Fusion bundle. That's a mouthful. So, as I said in the other videos, whether you've watched them or not, I'll say it again here. This is a 4 plugin bundle package. You can buy them individually for $199 US each, or you can buy all 4 for $800. This is meant to be an emulation of the famous SSL Fusion hardware that came out about probably a year, 18 months ago as of the recording of this video. I do have a real SSL Fusion along with my SSL console, so I'm very familiar on the way it sounds, and over the last, I don't know, month or two, they put out these plugins and they're charging a premium for it. The SSL Fusion hardware is extremely popular, sounds great. So a lot of people want to know, did the plugins sound like the hardware? Well, this video is not going to be a direct comparison this to the hardware. I'm going to be doing that on my other YouTube channel, which is called Mixing Music Analog. Make sure you click the link in the description box. Go check out that YouTube channel. And if you'd be so kind, subscribe and follow me over there. If you're into hybrid mixing, hardware, consoles, everything to do with hybrid mixing, where we compare the real hardware to the plugins and so much more, check out Mixing Music Analog. But that video is going to be coming shortly over there where we're going to shoot it out directly against the hardware. In this video, and for most of you watching this at Home Recording Made Easy, you just want to know if they sound good. So we're going to do that today. So here is the Violet EQ. We're going to listen to it on some drums and on a full mix. And then we're also going to take a look at the quick start guide by SSL so you can see how to use it, but it's pretty simple. Over here, let's take a walk through the layout here first. First, we got an input meter here on the left-hand side. We have an input trim, a high pass filter frequency, right? From off 30, 40, 50. We have a fat switch underneath that. We have a low plus or minus 9 dB low frequency boost. Above that in purple, you'll see the low frequency selector, 30, 50, 70, 90. Then we have an in and out, bypass in and out. We have a high frequency in pink or purple here, 8, 12K, 16K, 20K. And then we have a plus or minus 9 dB booster cut on that frequency, then an output trim. Pretty simple. We also have this eco button. The eco button allows you to have a little less processing power under the hood, so you can put multiple instances of this on your mix if you'd like to, or you can keep it in the non-eco mode, and that's going to give you a little bit more oversampling, and apparently the algorithms and such will give it a little bit more true flavor to the actual hardware. Down here, we also have a bunch of presets which we could check out as well. So that is the SSL Fusion Violet EQ. Pretty straightforward. Where do you typically use this? Well, you would typically use this on a master bus or on a group channel bus, kind of like the SSL Fusion hardware. But the nice thing about the plugin is you could put them across all your tracks or on singular tracks or a special track where you need to use this kind of an EQ. And you can do that, which you can't do with the hardware, not easily. So the plugin's a little bit more flexible. Before we jump into the plugin, let's take a look at the quick start guide, just so you can see the SSL provides you with a nice little quick start guide for all of their Fusion plugins, which is really nice. And there is the hardware, and I do have the hardware myself, or actually the hardware's down here. And so here's all the different controls. We have a high pass filter here. The fat switch, just so you know what it does, it adds a subtle oomph. That's a technical musical term, oomph, to the low end when the high pass filter is switched on. Okay, so when you put the high pass frequency on, it introduces some subtle resonance around the cutoff frequency. So what that means is, let's say you have the high pass frequency at 30 hertz and you're rolling off everything below 30 hertz. This is going to give you the fat switch is going to give you a little bit of bump right around that 30 hertz so it doesn't completely drop off. That's kind of what it does. We'll demonstrate that in a bit. And then we have our low shelf and our high shelf filters, as I said, our high shelf frequencies, and our bypass switch. And then here it is. They give you some tips and some tricks. You can visit it at solidstatelogic.com. Oh, by the way, full disclosure, this is not a sponsored video. I paid for these with my own money. I have their subscription plan, which we'll talk about in a bit. So I'm not sponsored by SSL in any way, but I do have an SSL Fusion, the hardware. I do own an SSL console. I love SSL and everything that they do, but I'm not sponsored in this video, and I think these plugins are way overpriced. And we'll talk about that in a bit as well. So just because I love SSL doesn't mean I'm not going to be honest with you guys. Anyway, here is a drum groove from SSD5 drums. Let's take this out. Basic drum groove. Great sounding drums. Let's bring it in. Let's start with a little topping, get a little more crack to the snare maybe. Hear what that does? Let's add a little bit of oomph, maybe at 50 hertz. So you can hear the sweepable amount of low end and high end you can add or take away. Sounds good. It's not overly hyped. It sounds musical at all different points depending on the frequencies that you pick. Typically when I use the hardware, this is almost a set it and forget it thing on my bus, on my master bus on my console. Basically I set it to 50 hertz, 16K. This is kind of my settings. Kind of like right there. That's kind of where my settings are. Sometimes like this. That's about where my settings typically are. Nice gentle curves, nice little bump in the low end, a little bump in the top end, a little bit of shine. That's how I kind of use this typically. Let's check out the fat switch. So if we put the fat switch at 30 hertz, it's going to take away some low ends. Let's exaggerate it. So it adds that little oomph, just like they're saying. There's no fat switch on the hardware that adds that oomph. So we're doing a high pass at 30 hertz, which will get rid of some of that low end and that's a little bit of mud. And this is helpful for on a full mix, which we're going to listen to in a second. But then you want to add just a little bit of bump in there right at the cutoff frequency. This can be very handy depending on the program material. So that's it on a drum bus. I mean, again, it's pretty straightforward. There's not much to show you here, okay? Let's listen to this on a full mix. Now, this mix that I did was done in the box. It wasn't done on the console, meaning that there is no Fusion on this thing. No Fusion in the circuit at all with hardware and or plugins. So let's just see what it does here. Let's see if we can add a little bit of bump, a little bit of shine, play with the fat switch, and just see what it does.
I'm going down, Lord, I'm going fast. This broken heart ain't gonna.
What's going on here? No, I don't hear anything. Try that again. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. I knew I didn't hear anything. It's because I had the wrong instance of the plugin up. Okay, let's try it again. Let me start setting it by where I would typically set this on my hardware just to see. This is kind of my hardware setting, as I said earlier. Let's see.
I would turn it around, but I can't get up. I'm going down, down on my luck.
The whole band will kick in now.
I'm going down, Lord, I'm going fast. This broken heart ain't gonna last. I would turn it around, but I can't get up.
So it's just a nice little shelving EQ. It sounds good. I love it on the Fusion hardware. It sounds just like it. It's certainly an accurate representation of it. It sounds good. The addition of the fat button is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little feature, depending on the program material. Again, I lay this on my master bus and I do a little bit of bump at 50, a little bit of bump typically at 16K. And again, we're talking a minimal amount. And then using the rest of the Fusion in the hardware form, it kind of really adds a nice little finisher to the entire mix. Now, as I said in the other videos, and I'll say it here again, if this is the first Fusion video you're watching of this little series we're doing here, is that the way to really use this, in my opinion, although with the plugin there are no rules, you can put it anywhere, is that you would put all 4 of the modules on the master bus and use the ones that you want, or all of them at the same time in very subtle amounts like I do on the hardware. But on the hardware, you can also turn on and off each one of the sections. So the last video of this series, I'm going to do that where we put all of them on the master bus and use them in combination, which will give you a little bit more of a real world experience to how you might use the hardware. But the plugin's more flexible in that you can do things with it that you can't really do with the hardware, which is cool if the need arises. So it sounds great, right? It's a good sounding plugin. Like I said in all the other videos of this series, I think $200 each, it's too much money. It's not worth $200 in my opinion. There are many other EQs on the market that you can get for a third of the price that sound equally as good. However, if you are into the SSL native plugins and all of their plugins sound great, the best way to go about it, in my opinion, is kind of like what I did, is I bought the $150 a year subscription, which gives me access to all their plugins, including the 4 Fusion plugins. And then it's worth it, because if you're buying all 4 of the Fusion plugins to kind of get that Fusion experience in a plugin format, you're looking at $800, which I think is way too high. It's not even worth $400 in my opinion. To be totally honest with you, if it was where I think this whole 4 bundle plugin package ought to fall, it ought to fall at $200 for all 4 modules. Maybe $250. That's it. That's what they're worth. If you compare them to other things on the market, that's what they're worth. The reason why they're priced so high is, 1, they're brand new. Secondly, the SSL Fusion, the hardware, is an extremely popular box. Extremely. Go on YouTube, search out all the videos. There isn't a bad review about them. One of the reasons why I bought one. And it is that good. It's a great box. And so they're capitalizing on that. You want it in the plugin format? No problem. The hardware is almost $2,800. The plugins are $800. So I understand it from a business point of view, but what I hear to tell all, I do with you guys with all plugins, regardless of whether it's a sponsored video or not, these are not. But I tell you my honest opinion, and I tell you the real deal. I don't think they're worth $200 each. I don't. I think they sound good. I think if you like the SSL native stuff, go with the subscription plan, because you can get almost 4 years of subscription plan for what you're going to pay for the 4 modules, right? $800, you can get 4.5 years worth of subscription plan for $800, and you get access to all their plugins. And by the way, all the SSL native plugins are awesome. I got a playlist on our channel here, which is where this video will reside, in the SSL native playlist, and you'll see all the ones that I've done. They don't make a bad plugin. They make great plugins. They're too expensive, in my opinion, for what it's worth to you. So, is this a good EQ? Yes. Does it sound good? Could it be useful? Is it musical? Does it sound like the hardware? Yes, yes, and yes. Is it worth $200? Absolutely not, in David's opinion. In this guy's opinion. So do what you want with that. And check them out. The other thing is, you can't demo their plugins on their website, which is it's one of the few manufacturers you can't demo the plugin. I don't get that. So if SSL is watching this, I'm an SSL fanboy. I got one of your consoles sitting behind me, but for crying out loud, can you make the plugins so you could demo them? Or at least you weren't able to as of the recording of this video. Maybe at one point you will, depending on when you see this. But what you can do is you can join the monthly subscription plan, and you can cancel at any time. So I think for $24 or $29 US, you could join for 30 days and demo all of their plugins for free. For that $30. And then you could cancel the subscription and purchase the ones you want if you're not into the subscription thing. That's a way around it, but they should be able to demo them. My God. But anyhow, so that is a look at the Violet EQ and part of the Fusion. Great plugin, sounds great, too high priced, but I encourage you to at least check it out, see if you like it for yourself. It does sound like the hardware, and if you go over to Mixing Music Analog, like I said earlier, we will shoot out the hardware to the plugin to see if it sounds any better, worse, or the same. So that's it for this video, and as I said in the beginning, I want to give you something else for sticking around till the end of the video. Make sure you go out to homerecordingmadeeasy.com, get your free mixing course, right? It's right on the homepage. It's a $100 mixing course. Get it. It's free. No strings attached. I'm not charging anything. You don't have to put a credit card in. You get it for free. Go do that today. If you take that course and you dig my style of teaching and you say, you know what other courses does Dave have to offer? I have a whole online curriculum, big word, or an online school for people that are simple like me. Online school, EQ, compression, mixing, mastering, recording, everything from beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and so much more, right on the website, right? I want to give you a coupon code so you could take 25% off any one of those training courses. The coupon code that you can use at checkout is YouTube25. Links will be in the description box. Information will be in the description box. Go out to homerecordingmadeeasy.com today. And until the next video, I've been Dave with homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.